So look, I think the first thing I really want to hit on is the George Floyd piece. There's so much to unpack there, and I think the protests and the rioting and the looting. Look, those all are in the same buckets, but I think they all value a certain space. I think there's aggravation all over. But from how I view it is, this is just a boiling pot, right? And so, I mean, we've all had, crab legs, all had something in the pot, and the water boils over, and there's something all over the stuff all over the stove, and we take the pot off, and then we take the stuff out the pot, but there's still stuff that's burnt in the bottom. That's where we are. I mean, between coronavirus, between racism, the Karens of the world, unemployment. We as a people, African Americans in this country, have now come to this inflection point where enough is enough. And I applaud our white brothers and sisters, our Latino brothers and sisters, our, the other brothers and sisters who are standing with us in this piece, because it's a human rights issue, but it's also an African American issue. And look, you're talking about people who've been oppressed in this country for well over 400 years. Who we came over as free labor. Our tag was somebody else's property. And so I think that has been a point where we're now like, we're just not doing this no more. So I applaud everybody who's been out on a fight with us, and who they're learning about what's going on. They're learning about the African American culture. And so a lot of folks liked the culture, but they didn't want the struggle. And so I think when you look back, and so I even challenge, or I want to challenge Board of Educations and people who are educating our children to, I implore you that that's not where African American culture started. It does not start with slavery, not even in this country. Look, even when Christopher Columbus traveled, he had Moors traveling with him, and Moors were looked at as the greatest explorers. They're looked at as the greatest astrologers. They knew how to survey land. They knew where to go. They knew geometry. They knew arithmetic. And so the value of African Americans was seen as early, this sounds cliche, as 1492. But even further back in Napoleon, and when some of the quote-unquote great philosophers, Galileo Galilei, would go to Timbuktu to learn from African Americans. So when now we fast forward to where we are now, we're like, how are we still being shot dead in the street? And we've been yelling, I can't breathe, for over a decade now. And so I guess I'm curious to find out, why is it now that other cultures or our white brothers and sisters are now trying to figure out, how did we get here? Why this is so bad? What was different between that and Trayvon Martin? What was different between that and anybody who's been killed during the process in this country? So that's why I really want to open up this dialogue, because I'm confused, because what we saw was nothing different that's already been happening.